open. Bring it on in. And today, you Mix 104.1, Winging Lifestyles. One of the fun things about this show is it's more than, no one's ever going to accuse me of being a journalist. You know what I mean? I have a natural curiosity about everything, which I think makes me a different kind of an interviewer. But it also makes it, I think, a little bit more interesting. You're never going to hear me. If you see me show up, you don't have to worry about the 60 Minutes Dan Rather treatment. It's not going to happen. I just want to find out about what you do. And one of the other good things about this program is you get to meet people who, over the years, become really close friends of yours, and you develop a good camaraderie and a good dynamic with them on the air. Carrie Tabaski is the person who is sitting across from me right now. Hey,
Hi,
you.
Mike. I was thinking about it. Sorry to cut you off.
No, no.
I think I have now known you for, going on 15 years?
Yeah, at least.
15 years. So.
And the cool thing is that you have a natural passion. It's funny because just on its surface, when we first met, we were natural enemies. I was a radio programmer and you were a radio salesperson.
I didn't know that you felt that way about me.
No. But it's one of those things where it's the old joke that sales and programming have to be at odds, which is silly.
Silly.
But, over the years, we've talked about so many things. We've done a lot of work with, obviously, the Buddy Walk and stuff
MDSC.
like that. Yep, absolutely. The Massachusetts Down Syndrome Congress. But there are so many other things. One of the great things is that when you become an advocate, you understand that there are other advocacy groups out there doing great things. I always refer back to my friend Tim Garvin, who runs the United Way of Central Massachusetts. But he was in the Peace Corps. He is constantly working with different organizations, and he's constantly calling me up saying, Mike, I'm bringing somebody in. We'll be there at 4 o'clock today. And the thing is, that's the thing I love about the show is that it's an open forum, open ideas. If you have an organization you want to profile, I'm wide open. Bring it on in. And today, not today, but this week you said, hey, there's something good going on. Let's chat. And I say, anytime you want to show up, young lady.
I love it.
Now, first off, I should probably say that those at home might not know this, but you should see this girl in the gym throwing punches. Your idea of a woman fighter is a little different when you realize, look, you've always been very dynamic, feisty as can be, and very much in shape. When you just showed me that video of the lefts and uppercuts and ducking punches, I'm very impressed. So keep in mind, folks, this woman can kick your butt.
It's good stress relief.
So today we're going to talk about something that's near and dear to my heart because of a little bit about my background and my kids. The theater is something which is not, a lot of people who are in radio started out there, because radio is in many ways performance. You know what I mean? You got to be ready to perform. You have to be ready to not be embarrassed of making a mistake. You have to be ready to get out there and say, hey, this is me. I'm going to try something. And whether or not it works perfectly, it's going to be fun to take the ride. And you have a little bit of background in that too.
I do. I started in theater actually when I was in first grade. I got my first taste of it. We did a play. We did Free to Be You and Me,
which is a great one. Marlo Thomas.
With the first graders and the fourth graders, and I will never ever forget it. As soon as I did that, as soon as I was on stage, I just knew that I loved it. And then I decided that I probably wasn't as good of an actress, and I definitely can't sing, so you can't make me sing.
Oh, come on, sing. We'll do some singing in a minute.
In 8th grade at summer camp, I was in a chorus line, and I played the girl who couldn't sing because I really can't sing. So,
but it's fun, this whole thing. Here's something I'm not sure you know about me, but I come from a performing family. My father was a professional singer. He was actually on the Ed Sullivan Show in 1959. He was a great singer. Yeah, his name was Burt Mullaney. He had a very good career as a singer. My sister, now this is one you might not know, but this is how I kind of got into the world of performance and stuff. My sister was a member of the cast of Zoom. Do you remember Zoom? Box 350, Boston, Mass. 2134.
Of course.
In 1972 and 1973, she was a member of the cast of Zoom. They actually won an Emmy Award for Best Children's Show. So as a kid, I would go over to this place, which is not far from here, over on Western Avenue, and I would watch TV production. I would watch these guys produce TV shows, and it was a really exciting thing. And I ended up, when I was about 8 or 9 years old, actually recording an album. And it was a performance album, not singing or anything. But we did a play, and I played a little kid in it. It was called The Carp in the Bathtub. And I played a little boy on that. And it was an amazing thing to be in the world of recording studios as a kid. And it kind of gives you a bug that never leaves you.
It really does. And as I got older, I decided that I like to be behind the scenes a little bit more. And I directed my senior class play. We did Grease, which was And we had 70
Come on,
second
sing
semester
it.
seniors.
Summer loving
Yeah, no, I was the
had me
director.
a
That's
blast.
why. It was
Come
just, it
on.
was great. And then I went on to college and did theater, and then I decided to go into film and did the whole LA thing for a few years. And I've always loved the whole performance, not necessarily the entertainment industry, although I still have that. I still get my Entertainment Weekly every week.
That's true.
But I love the idea of theater and what it does for people and the self-confidence. And I'll never forget, even though it was 25 years ago, when we did Grease, I had a lot of parents actually send me notes saying thank you for getting my child into this, because it's built their self-confidence, and it's just done so much for them, and it's a lot of camaraderie, and it's team building, and it's just such a great thing for kids.
No, it really is, because it allows you to it gives you a platform. And again, I did some of that in high school. I joined theater, but it wasn't because I wanted to act. It was because it was a girl I liked, and I said,
Well,
I'll go into acting. But guess what? I ended up getting in there. We did Pippin, which is now a big hit on Broadway again. Loved the show, and I just loved the dynamic of getting out there, because I used to like to sing, but I never had the guts to sing previously. We did that stuff, and I ended up singing in garage bands for a few years after that, because I suddenly found my inner voice. And the idea of what the acting does for you is also, it translates to everything. I mean, like, for example, we're looking over there, and there's Erin O'Malley. She's playing that role on the radio. She has a role she plays.
Right.
It's herself, but she's doing that. Think about it in sales. If you have that performance ability and you understand you're going to be scrutinized, but you have the confidence that you've gained from acting and knowing the part you're about to execute, it's a huge step. I don't think there's a single thing in the world where performance art does not help you as a person to discover your inner voice, your confidence, and stuff like that.
Oh, definitely. And the other thing it does is, if you are somebody who is really shy, and kind of awkward, or not even awkward,
You're
but
not
just
awkward.
really shy, not awkward, and it gives you the opportunity to be somebody else.
Yeah, 100%.
And if you don't like to do things, I don't know, it makes it a safe place. You can be somebody else. You can, with improv. I mean, I love improv also.
Yeah.
With improv, it's team building. It's working together. It's building a community. But it's just theater. There's nothing bad about theater.
It gives you, it really does give you
especially
an
children's
opportunity.
theater. Yeah.
And the other thing that I've always loved is the fact that I've always found people really are able to function better early. Like when you see kids who play as member of teams. Football is a great thing for teaching kids roles, sacrificing yourself, understanding the drive of the team. Theater does the same thing. It's a huge group. Every
you
person.
might not get hurt as
Well, you break a leg. Do they say that in front of football games? But the idea of understanding your role in the thing, how no person is better than anybody else.
And
the quarterback can't do his job unless the guard stops someone, or the left tackle. Same thing in theater, where no matter how good you are as a singer, if your stage director isn't doing what they're doing, if every single role doesn't give you the opportunity to maximize what your role is, it's a great thing. So let's talk about this particular organization of theater that you find yourself involved with now.
Yes. So my middle child Maya has been involved with the Concord Youth Theater for now almost 2 years, and I really have gotten to know the theater itself, the people who run the theater, and the philosophy behind it. And that's one of the reasons that I wanted Maya to be part of this, because it's the Concord Youth Theater, I should say that, because it's a great organization, and they have so much talent there. And the theater's run by professionals. It's a very welcoming place. It's a very safe place, and it has fostered a lot of friendships. It's that have carried through. I know that my youngest, Anna, who has Down syndrome, happens to have Down syndrome. I should say that. She is a performer in a couple of years. I know she's going to get involved, and I know that they're going to welcome her with open arms. I mean, it's just such a welcoming place.
100%. And this goes in the theater community overall is like that. My daughter Olivia is a performer in the Melrose Middle School. They did Mulan this year, and she had a great role. She did a lot of singing. She's a talented kid. But there was also a member of that class who's got Down syndrome, and she was actively involved in it, and she had a great little role. And it was like, it's great to see that it does not matter. There's roles for every person because society is reflected in theater. Everyone, you can find everyone from all walks of life represented in real life, and you can often find it in theater depending on, there's many things to, it's very inclusionary, and I love that.
Well, and I think inclusion is a huge part of it.
Yeah.
And what they do at, Maya started with junior company. That's where she is now, and it's kind of parlays into the main stage, which is for ages 9 and up, going into high school. And what they do is they teach you how to be an actor, and it's not necessarily the acting skills that are as important as how to support each other, how to not be a diva. Nobody is any more important than anybody else. Everyone supports each other, so you might have a smaller role, but you're still just as important, and it's still just as necessary to support everybody. And they don't count, they don't support counting lines, counting the number of lines you get when you have a role. That's your role, and that's the role that they feel is best for you. And it's not about the number of lines you have. It's about being an ensemble, and it's about it's very humbling, and they teach you etiquette, and they also teach you, because if you want to go into acting as you get older, you have to know how to take no for an answer. And that goes with everything, because you can't always have the leading role, and you can't always have, you can't always get what you want. You can't be the lead all the time. And you might have an ensemble role, you might have a smaller part, but that is okay, because it's just the way it goes.
But here's the thing, and again, life is all about. And if, by the way, if you just tuned in to Mix 104.1, I'm Mike Mulaney. We're talking to Carrie Tabaski, a friend of mine who has collaborated with me on a number of things. Today, we're talking about the Concord Youth Theater, ConcordYouthTheater.org. We're talking about something they have coming up, but we're also talking about the idea of performance in theater and the idea of the positive impact it has on young people and how it really can help shape you. And it's interesting because people always say, well, I remember my daughter tried out, she's got a great voice, and she tried out for Mulan, and obviously she's of some Asian descent, and she's like, well, this is me. I mean, I better get Mulan here. And she didn't get the lead, and she's like, I'm not going. I was like, nah. The old line, there are no small roles, there are just small actors. I always remembered in the play Pippin back in the day, one of the best actors in the entire school had only one line. And everyone's like, what's he going to do with it? And his line was, the infidels have attacked from the north. And that was it. What he ended up doing was going on stage, and he put 7 or 8 arrows in his rear end, and he said, the infidels attacked, looked over his shoulder from the north. It was hilarious. Brought down the house. And I'm thinking to myself, that guy had one line, but that was the most memorable moment of this play.
Look at Judi Dench in Shakespeare in Love, and she won the
8
Oscar
minutes?
for, I think it was like 8 minutes,
Yeah.
whatever it was. And I say to my daughter, I tell Maya, you can go for the lead. You may not get it, but whatever you get is just as important.
100%.
And you need to own that role, because it's like a, brick by brick. It's like you're building something, and everybody's just as important.
And so this youth theater has been around since 1976.
Yes.
Artistic director Lisa Evans, an acting family. I mean, we know her son, Chris Evans.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
they're
it's
from
nice.
around here, and
By the way, can I mention something about Chris Evans? Thank you, Chris Evans. You know him best as Captain America. Thank you for representing the New England Patriots and going against that punk Chris Pratt. Just kidding. I love Chris Pratt. But he was from Guardians of the Galaxy, so we have Captain America rooting for the Patriots. Chris Pratt is rooting for the Seahawks. They have a bet. Whoever wins has to be wearing the other one's shirt. So I look forward to seeing Chris Pratt in a Patriots
and
t-shirt.
that's for a charity. I mean,
Like
that's
100%. Christopher's Haven. This is a spot where, I actually had the founder of Christopher Haven on here. This is a place where the gentleman who founded it was, he dealt with cancer at a young age, a former athlete. And he decided he wanted to have a place where families could go and stay.
That's awesome.
And, because obviously treatment is expensive. And hotels in Boston are expensive. A very special place, Christopher's Haven. So you can look that up, Christopher'sHaven.org. It's great that these guys put their star power and their loyalty for their home team together. And either way, this organization is going to benefit. So I love that.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. And Lisa runs it. She's a phenomenal person. She treats every kid like they're, her own child, and she really fosters the kind of community and the environment that it's the way it should be in theater. It's she welcomes back kids who graduate from CYT, who from college. They actually do a fundraiser called Cabaret, where these kids come back and they rehearse all during the winter break when they're home, and they do all these performances, and it's a fundraiser for
that's
the theater.
awesome.
It's awesome. And they have Concord Youth Theater has special guests throughout the year. We had Livingston Taylor come.
We love Liv. I will be in love with you. See, I want to sing today. You have my theater going here.
Great. And they also have, there are opportunities for kids of all ages. They have, playtime theater for the younger kids. They have